This week, we start renovating one of the most interesting and historic rooms in our farmhouse. The parlour, or aka the good room in old Irish times, started out as being the good room where people would have guests to have tea and cake. It then went on to be a mini kitchen, an ensuite bedroom, and many other things throughout our renovation times. We also don't know what it really was prior to this, as there was another doorway here as well. Amongst other things, the dresser, which contained documents that we found from the Irish Civil War, were in this room. This week, we are going to take these walls apart and find the secrets that they hide.
He rocked up in the morning.
Oh man. That's the plan.
Funnily enough.
It's got a little sister.
Did you find the money yet?
Soon, my pretties. And it's quite sparkly, actually.
Hello. Where are you going?
One little fella peeping his head out.
And it makes no difference to mayor to fifth.
There was loads of them.
That's pretty good. Place is clean and it'll never be getting dirty again.
Happy Christmas!
Here I attacked the lintel from the inside. This was a bit hair-raising as it is supporting the beams above, so it was important that we found some old rafters to support those while I was working there. My son's PlayStation is directly above my head here, so it was absolutely vital that I had some props in this dangerous situation. But eventually I was able to free the rafter and pull it out. So, I've managed to get half of the lintel down. My aim is to just get it out of the whole area that I have there and plug that part first before working under the other beam. But I'll show you, there's still half of it left in the hole. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get that out. So this is all wood all back here. So it was a really, really wide piece of wood in there. So I have to go down and see if I can find maybe a hammer and some bits to take on the wood. So I've got the majority of it out, and now I'm just trying to size up a stone to go back in there. Got quite a nice one here because it's got a straight edge. But it might just be a bit too big. See if I can get a small bit more off that piece of wood. Got a tiny, tiny piece sticking out, which is preventing me from getting that out. Now I know I will get that out. That piece of wood will come out when I go to remove this one. I just wanted to get something in next to this before I look at the other one. It's like the sycamore tree all over again. Oh man. It was like working in the dark here. I had to even get my hat on with my torch so that I could actually see what I was doing. The piece of wood would not budge out of the hole. And the more I tapped, the more it would go one way. And if I tapped the other way, it was going the other way. So it was wiggling, but then it wouldn't fit out of the space. So I made up a batch of mortar and went outside and picked some stones, precariously balanced them on top of my ladder and started to put them in. I've actually got quite good at this now, and so they look quite good, and I was really happy with the support under the beams. Okay, so now I'm going to tackle this beam and remove this piece of wood to here, and we'll worry about this one later on, but just to get to there. This wasn't easy to get out, as you saw, so I'm hoping this one will come out a little bit easier, but let's see. Initially I was worried that this might be a large sleeper, or in fact a railway piece, an old one, but no, just an old rotten piece of wood. I actually put you on time lapse for that, because I thought it was going to be ages taking this wood out, but it just fell straight out. So I'm going to try and remove the rest of the debris. This obviously now, as you can see, this doesn't go far in at all. I might talk to Rob about sistering this. Might be no harm to put a little extra bit on the end while we have the space to do it. Clear out all of this and then build this all up again like I did this side. That's the plan. So hopefully I'll be able to pull all of that out. There seems to be, and I don't know if anybody knows what these are, but I haven't found one. There was one in here, but there's these really black shiny spiders that seem to live, I don't know if they live inside this wood or if just in this concrete void, but I remember them when we took down the lean-to on this side where our bedroom is now. There was loads of them, big black, quite nasty looking spiders. If I find one, I'll show you. I don't know. I haven't got close enough to touch them or anything, and I'm not terribly afraid of spiders anymore, since obviously like we're surrounded by them. But these ones in particular, they just don't look nice, and they're not the black widows because they don't have the markings on the black. They're just all black. Anyway, if I find one, I'll show you.
Whoa! There's a bit of a bounce. Damn it.
Well, maybe I can knock them in the rest of the way.
You'll have to.
Are they going in though?
Yeah, it's just this beam is like there's nothing holding it at the end, so the beam is just shaking out, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, a hammer will knock them in. Maybe 4 good nails then. Holding that up now.
Okay. That's
good.
Great. It's got a little sister.
What up, sister?
Into the wall. Now it's time to fill that gap. Excellent. Thanks, honey.
Did you find the money yet?
Soon, my pretties.
There are rumours there is several thousand in these walls from the Irish Civil War. So, I don't know, we found some secret documents to see if we can find the money.
So I'm going to head off outside and see if I can get a really nice, big, thick stone that will go underneath the sistered piece, the main beam, and well into this void as well, even onto this big rock, I think. So it needs to be quite a big one. We'll see what we can find, and even quite a thick one. Off I go, show you what I get. So I've chosen my stone. It fits nicely under the sister, under the beam, and right the way across onto this next stone. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to get a pile of mortar in, set it in. It's bloody heavy. I might be able to put it to the side actually, up on the side, because it's really heavy to lift it up and down. And try and get a few other stones then in around it. And that'll be enough then for my Saturday morning. Now, with these props here, it just makes it really difficult to access the hole. But I'm trying. See if I can maybe push this over. This was way more difficult than I expected. It's the difficulty is with the height and the weight of the stones. So I should really have called Rob to help with this, but I managed to be able to push it into the top of the other side and then push it back again. Anyway, it looks good now, but yes, I can really sympathise with the old stonemasons when they were doing this wall. Oh, it's not very stable. Okay, back out to find some stones. Just managed to get them all in. I tried to keep the flat faces facing out. Learned that from my neighbour Mike, just watching him doing his stonework. This one isn't a great flat face, the actual nice side. The flat face is actually on this side, but it just fitted so well underneath this that it doesn't need to look pretty up here. You know, it's fine. And it's quite sparkly actually, whatever that is, quartz or something running through it. So that's the end of the beam, and I'd be hoping that tomorrow I can move this aqua prop and have another look at this side. This side is held up by the stone, by the concrete wall underneath, so it's not so bad. This is actually just a piece that they had to bring it flush with the door. The actual beam is behind it. So I'll be interested to see how far back that beam goes, but that is for tomorrow.
Hey folks, we'd like to give you guys a huge thank you for being here on this journey with us. If you actually would like to support the channel and help us make these videos, why not consider buying a few Christmas cards or a few of our postcards, or why not pick up a handcrafted Christmas decoration? All of these are available on our Ko-fi store, links below. For something different, why not check out our Homestead journal on Amazon, or you can become a member of Patreon. And as always, if you're not subscribed, please do so and hit that notification bell. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
So, just been working on the hives, making sure they're insulated for the winter. This is the roof off the small hive. Gonna go and put this back on. I've just insulated the top of it. I've had to keep the vents open. So I have a vent on that side and a vent on the other side. So I'm gonna go and put this on. On top of that then, I'm going to give them some fondant. This colony are quite weak. It's the old queen and she still hasn't got a full hive really as such, so I really need to look after them. So I'm going to give her this fondant, and then on top of that I'm also going to take out, didn't have a dummy board in that hive, so I've just made a dummy board out of some scrap wood, and I'm going to replace, it has a frame in it, looks like this, and it's awfully annoying when you're trying to look in the frame, so I'm going to take the end frame out and put the dummy board instead. So I'll take you around and we'll have a look at the hive, see how they're doing. Back of the hive, and not a lot of toing and froing, as you can see. They were earlier when I popped out, but doesn't seem to be a lot going on here. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on inside. I actually have quite a few little jobs. So I have the dummy board to do that needs to go in. Oh, here's a few now. I have to put a mouse guard on the front entrance, so we'll do that. I'm going to change the crown board for a perspex one so that I can see what's going on in the winter if I need to, and then of course we've got to put their new insulated roof on. So we'll get to it and have a look inside. So this is what I was feeding them. I was feeding them sugar syrup, and I'm going to change that now. Did I forget to bring that out? Oh my golly, with everything that I was doing, I think I did. So we're a little bit agitated. I'm going to leave you up there for a second. Food. So this is what the new crown board looks like, and it just enables me to be able to see them in the winter but also be able to see if any condensation builds up in the hive, which isn't good in the winter. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm going to put the food over the hole here. This is the food, and I've put a hole in the middle and a hole, not a hole all the way through, but just kind of put my finger in it so I could see where it is and that it's over the hole. There we go. And we're going to put on their new roof. Well, quite a lot of bees over here, which I would like to get into the hive. So I've left the sugar syrup here, just because there's still loads of bees in it, and they're all quite agitated, and they're all on the old crown board, and they're all everywhere. I've really upset the house. So they'll all go in tonight, and they'll come out of this, and they'll crawl down the side and go in the hole. I'll leave the mouse guard until later as well, because they're just too everywhere now, and it's enough to do just a couple of jobs. But 5 individual jobs is a bit much on a November day. So we'll leave them alone. So I'm just heading off down to the other hive here, just at the bottom of the track, just to do the exact same that I did on the other hive. I've insulated the roof. I have a new Perspex crown board so I can watch them. I have some feed which I may not give them as I don't think they need it, and I have a few bits of wood to try and patch up the hive that they're in, and a mouse guard to put on, which I forgot to bring the nails for. I also brought a little bit of Tyvek down, hammer and a few nails, because this hive is a little rotten, so we might need to do a bit of a job on it. We'll have a look. These guys are quite active today. So as you can see, the main floor in this hive is sort of gradually... Hello? Where are you going? One little fella peeping his head out. I'm having to kind of do my best to keep this propped up together. However, the main floor seems okay, so I'm hoping that everything will stay together. I put this in front because there was just a massive hole. I didn't cover these sides, so they do have, and then so I didn't make a kind of a homemade mouse guard there on the front. However, they don't seem to be using it. Maybe they can't get in and out, but anyway, we'll have to see. So I'm thinking of blocking up this hole and leaving the other hole at the other side, which they seem to be using all the time. That seems to be the main entrance, and hope for the best that the rest will be okay. Today this old roof is coming. This is just temporary because I was re-insulating their insulating their main roof. You can even see there's a bit of straw here, but if you don't mind that gap, because the airflow is very important in the hive as well, especially when you put I'm going to put the Perspex crown board on. Here my battery ran out. You'd think at this stage I'd be a bit better prepared. Here we are back at the house, and I'm raking out all the clay and then blowing it out with the hoover. Getting ready for pointing. I am using the same mix that I did for the little wall in the kitchen. So that's white sand, white cement and lime. So I'm going to mix that up and we should be ready to go. Now, it's good consistency. I'm going to spray down the wall now just to get it wet. Before I do that, finally ready for pointing. So I used my sprayer to completely saturate the wall in between every stone, and this also helps to wash the stones down prior to pointing. We're using white sand, white cement and lime here. It was a bit of an effort to find the white sand and the white cement because they were bought so long ago when we were first starting out. But we did, and off we went. And this is incredibly therapeutic, I have to say. I really enjoy pointing. The lime pointing really brightens up the wall initially, but after a day or two it loses this brightness.
Well, hey Claire, what's happening?
So we're going to do a little test. We're going to try a bit of this wood stain, ebony wood stain, because this was Rab's first idea when we first thought about doing the plywood doors, that we would stain them dark. And I'm actually really excited about this because it actually does look amazing. If you look it up on the internet, you can still see the grain of the wood, but it's much darker. And then we're also just going to use pure tung oil.
Actually, let me make three.
On the other side.
So I want tung oil, I want the wood stain, and I want the diluted wood stain. And here you can mess around with different coats. You can do 1, 2, and 3 coats actually on my work. Tongue 1, tongue 2. This is stain 1, stain 2, stain 3, and that's diluted 1, diluted 2, and maybe we might put a tongue oil over the end just to give it a little bit of mellow, I think.
Why were you thinking about diluting it?
I want it kind of like that there's a little bit of the colour of the wood coming through. Wow, the tongue oil kind of makes no difference to it. It's amazing.
Might seep in, I'd say.
50-50.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to want to mix.
Oh.
We found that this stain doesn't like white spirits, but it mixes grand with water. Kind of what I was hoping for, you know? Goes very far. It just goes on a lot lighter, doesn't it?
Tongue oil didn't really do anything, did it? Okay, so we'll keep testing them. Tongue oil doesn't seem to have done anything. This has kind of gone a lighter colour. And this is the just pure out of the tin. And I'm just interested to see if this one will show up the grain like I hope it will. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, so straight into work here. The electrician is here, so I'm not actually talking much. It was okay putting the cupboards on. I did this once or twice before, but it was a different story putting the drawers on. These handles instructions made no sense. I just had to try, test, measure a couple of times. Eventually I got it going, and the second one was easier, the third one was simple, but yeah, this is tricky. The rest is fine, these are tricky. So a slow start today, I'm afraid. My kitchen progress got very hampered by the electrician coming up, and I was a little bit surprised he said he'd come, but he didn't message before, so we weren't really expecting him. He rocked up in the morning anyway, and I managed to finish off these cabinets. These drawers were an absolute mare to fit, but they got done. I did these whilst he was working on our consumer unit, and I was helping him with bits and pieces, but I didn't cut anymore because he did need me to find my mistakes, funnily enough. He'd come across a problem, he'd move on to something else, and I'd fix the problem, basically. So we gave the whole day to him, and it was quite late, I think, when he left, so I'm only coming back to it today, which means I'm not going to finish it in this video. There's only a few hours left. So I think I'm going to finish off with these two sides. I must go down and cut them, and then I need to put 2 doors here, which should be straightforward. Put 2 doors here and a bunch of shelves there. a little covering for the dishwasher here, and then I need to build something there. I don't know, am I going to just have shelves here, or is it going to be a place for a bin? And then we have a wine chiller here, kind of a gift from my sister. Her son Charlie was using it to store the Lego, so we got that. But I just need to make some sort of a housing for that. So if I can get to these today, I'll be happy, and I'll have to finish it off tomorrow. But once these are done, I have just 2 doors to do on the back, small, big, and I'm going to put 1 big sheet, well maybe 2 sheets actually, just a panel, and close that off. A little bit of construction and a lot of measuring and cutting, so without further ado, I'm going to get these ones done. Let's go down to the shed. And we're back down to boring cutting. I want to say a huge thank you to all the YouTube peeps out there who left the comments telling me to get a track saw. This is a game changer. Perfectly straight lines. So back up in the kitchen, we're doing some simple hinges, nice and straightforward. But this is a nightmare. No instructions again, and if you look here, I've actually put it on incorrect. It's one of these weird counterbalanced hinges that goes above the fridge. So take it all back down, pop it all back in. No instructions, just guess it. But finally got there in the end. A couple more doors at the front, but this is where I made a mistake. So right here we can see where I messed up. I did bad measurement and it's too low. Now normally if it's about a ½ centimeter off or even less, you can raise or lower it, but this is too much. So it won't work either because I've bored a hole in there. It won't work if I lifted the hole up. So what I got to do is, this is the straight line, so I'm just going to sit it on it and I'm going to roughly find the middle of it. And I have one of these plunge bits which are pretty handy actually. They are impact driver drill, and you can set the depth that you want it to go in, and they're tapered at the top, so when you put them in a hole like this, they'll perfectly find the middle. So it's a lot safer than using a drill, because even the drill could put you off by a little bit. So I'm just going to line it up. I'm going to pop this in. It looks good. Give it a drill up there. It's a little bit smaller, the hole. Unfortunately, that's the biggest I have, but it ain't right. And I'm gonna pop the top bolt in. And that worked out pretty good. So now I am going to do the bottom. Again, find center, give it a little drill, chuck back on, screwdriver, and pop the bolt in. That's all 4 good. And now it probably won't line up perfectly. There may need to be some adjustments. Yeah, that's well off. So it's very far forward here. I did hit the wrong screw. The screw here adjusts it up or down. The screw here pushes it in or out, and I pushed the wrong one a while back. I'm gonna use this to push the door that's pulling it the wrong way. I want to push it back all the way and see how that works. It's still not really the best. Why is that so far off? Oh, so close up in the top. Just look in. That is not bad. not going in completely because of the tape. I must cut all this tape off, still haven't taken it off, but that's pretty good. I'm happy enough with that. That looks super. That wasn't so bad now, was it? It does take a little bit of time, just trying to fiddle them at the end to get them lining up. I just really want to get it done, and I think there's a lot of trim pieces that have to go on. There's the handles, there's the alignment, so I will do that all in the future. Just trying to get them up now because, like, Claire's just gone to collect Kira from work. She's gonna come home in a minute and she wants to make a dinner, and Kira wants to make a dinner, but it's such a mess in here. And I just want to finish off all the work so we get the place clean. It's funny, there must have been about a dozen times, if not more, 20 times, where we thought we finished off all the work and the place is clean and it'll never be getting dirty again with work, and before you know it, your countertop is a workshop again. Anyway, these two next, I have them cut here, so I'll just quickly try and put them on, and I might call that a day and just tackle this bunch in the next video. I would have finished it and all if the electrician hadn't come, but I suppose from what we can see here, it's quite nice having power all the same. Can't beat that. Right, working with lights makes a marvelous difference. Okay, and there we have it. That's a pretty tidy job now. Okay, I'm just going to leave that and I'm going to start dinner and I'm going to start tidying up, and hopefully we can sit there and eat later. I'm very happy with that. Shame I didn't get this done, but I guess we'll just have to catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching, thanks for everything. See you next time. Later.
Happy Christmas!
While we're all working, this little madam curled up in front of the fire.